Alright folks, welcome to the fourth video on SQL. So in the last video we discussed about select from and where clause. Today we'll carry on that. Uh, Now as you can see, I've opened the products table, and products table has multiple columns, as you can see. Now just focus on one particular column, which is category. Now this category is the category of product, right? Obviously there'll be so many repetitive values because for example, doohickey has multiple products which belong to the same category. Gadget has multiple products which belong to the gadget category, right? But for example, let's suppose you want to know how many such categories exist in the portfolio. Now one way is to calculate, to count it, or it's literally impossible, right? How would you be so sure that you're not missing any single categories, because you don't know how many such categories literally exist, right? There can be thousands and thousands of rows, right? So you want to find out the distinct categories with no repetitive values. Fortunately for us, SQL can do that. Let's just understand this particular term, which is distinct in SQL. Now, suppose you want to find out distinct categories. Okay, so select, you write distinct word after category, and let's just execute that. And you can see that there are just four categories of product. Okay, so that's, even though you might have thousands and thousands of rows, but all those thousands rows will be divided into these four categories of product. So this is how you use a distinct keyword, right? So distinct actually gives you distinct values of the column. If there are many repetitive values, it might give you, for example, another very good example is, for example, let's suppose you're working on a college database. Now a college might have multiple departments, right? And each of those professors might be engaged with multiple department. But for example, you want to find out, now let's take an example. Let's suppose there is a mathematics department, and the mathematics department might have, let's say, 20 professors. Okay, similarly an English department might have 10 professors, and so on. Now you want to find out how many such departments exist. Now mathematics will be repeated in that particular database 20 times. English would be repeated 10 times, and so on and so forth. So the point is, with distinct keyword, you can find out how many such distinct department exist. Okay. Let's just discuss more on where clause in detail. For that, we'll go back to our orders table. Let's just execute that. All right. Now, you might be familiar about uh, and or. Okay. Now, add and or are actually very handy in SQL. Let's just uh, uh, assume that you want to find out all the products that have been ordered in 2020. Okay. Now, how are you going to do that? And let's just focus on this particular problem for the moment. Now you want to find out, and you can see the created date. You want to find out the products that have been ordered in 2020. So select star, which means select all the columns from the orders table where created at is greater than. Now there's a set way to write the date. Now date is also a string, so we'll put in single quotes. First you write so the format is year, month, and dated. So this is the format that we use in SQL. Let's just write that down. So I'm saying that, Mr. SQL, select all the columns from my orders table where the orders were created at anything after 1st January 2020. It will give me, let's see what value. So it has returned these values. Now if you see, all these years would be after 1st January. You can just keep on sliding down. It'll be all of these orders would in January. Rather, I should be having greater than or equal to, so that the orders that have been placed on the 1st January should also be returned. Great. Okay. So this is how you use an equal to, this greater than equal to sign operator. Now let's suppose you want to find out the product whose value is greater than or equal to $100. Okay, you want to find out how many products of a higher value has been ordered. Same, select all the columns from my orders table where the total value of the order is greater than or equal to 100. Let's just see. So as you can see, this particular column, it has returned all the values that have price value of greater than or equal to 100. Okay, now suppose you want to now let's just think for a moment that you want to find all the products that are ordered in 2020. I'll write down the problem statement. Find out all the products that are ordered in 2020 and are of value greater than $100. So this is your problem question. Now you want to find orders that are that are placed in 2020 and are of value greater than $100. So another select. Now I'll not select all my columns because these are irrelevant. So I'll just select specific column. Let's, for example, I will select product ID because I want to find out the product. So I'll select product ID. I will select the total amount of the values. Okay. I will select the created at because these three values are concerning. Okay. From of course my orders table. Okay. Where? Let's just write it in one. Okay. From orders table where the first condition is the orders are placed in 2020. Okay. So created at is greater than or equal to same thing that we did 2020 01 01 and now this is where you would use AND command. Now AND basically says that you want both the conditions to be satisfied. The first condition is created at should be greater than or equal to 1st January 2020. Second condition is the total value should be greater than or equal to 100. So this is the two conditions that I have placed. Let's just run the query and see what happens. Okay. Now, if you can see, I have not put it in single quotes. This is what happens if you don't pay attention. Okay, let's just execute it. And here is it. So we have the product ID, we have the total value, and we have the created at date. So these are the products that are created in 2000, that are placed in 2020 and are of value greater than or equal to 100, as you can see. Okay. Now let's put OR and see what happens. Now what does OR do is it says that okay, select these tables, select these columns from this particular table where either the orders are placed in 2020 or their value of greater than or equal to 100. Okay, now let's just understand this first row. Now as you can see, the first row has a value greater than or equal to 100, but it is ordered in 2018. So this condition is satisfying. So it will return this value. Let's take another example where the value is less than 100. Okay. Now as you can see here, the value is less than 100. So this condition is not being satisfied. However, this has been placed in 2020, which means this condition is being satisfied. So OR is either, right? It will either this condition should be satisfied or that particular condition should be satisfied. However, in AND, both the conditions should be satisfied simultaneously. So this is how you use AND and OR command in SQL. Okay, so this is that's it in this video. We'll discuss more such commands in the next video.